Hi, I'm May Claire Bolton, seismologist and senior leader of research and content strategy at CoreLogic. Today, I'll explore how earthquake data is used in the insurance industry. The insurance industry uses earthquake data primarily through probabilistic risk models. Ultimately, the goal of using a probabilistic risk model is to become more resilient. With catastrophe risk models and analytics to help quantify damage and losses from an earthquake, as well as identify the location and extent of impacts, risk managers can become more prepared and more resilient. The first step in assessing risk is understanding hazard. This National Seismic Hazard Map from the U.S. Geological Survey is a common use of hazard data, outlining the severity of occurrence. But there's more to risk than just hazard. Assessing risk takes it a step further by incorporating proximity to exposure and vulnerability or damageability of structures. There are 4 steps in probabilistic earthquake risk modeling. The first step defines the hazard. This starts by identifying all sources of potential earthquakes, such as known faults and areas of seismicity, and then assigns a range of magnitudes to each source and determines the probability of each magnitude actually occurring. The second step takes each possible event and calculates the ground motion, or level of shaking, to estimate the footprint of impacted area. The third step calculates damage. This is the vulnerability component, where we take into consideration things like building practices and codes to compute damage for different structure types. The final step is a sophisticated financial model that computes the financial loss for each possible event. The input to a probabilistic risk model is generally a portfolio of assets. Important questions a risk manager would have include: where are the risks? How concentrated are they? How vulnerable are they based on the building's age and construction type? For the insurance industry, it's important to evaluate the full spectrum of risk. The more frequent, yet generally less damaging events can have an impact on cash flow, while extreme events can impact the solvency of a company. The advantage of using a probabilistic risk model rather than just a hazard map is that you can capture the range of potential events to gain insights into the realm of possibilities and all the resulting impacts. Even though probabilistic risk models can estimate loss of life or casualty impacts, they're most commonly used for estimating financial loss. In addition to estimating financial loss, probabilistic risk models can provide added insights to help insurers assess where the risk is coming from. For example, insurers might want to know which fault sources and magnitudes of events are driving the risk. Ultimately, the goal of using a probabilistic risk model is to become more resilient. With catastrophe risk models and analytics to help quantify damage and losses from an earthquake, as well as identify the location and extent of impacts, risk managers can become more prepared and more resilient. For more information on earthquakes and other natural hazard risks, please visit CoreLogic.com and research natural hazard risk.